I'm Billy Gould from Faith No More. I'm here at the Sporthalle in Hamburg right now. We're on tour and we're supporting this record. It's called Soul Invictus. It's our first record that we've done in 18 years. I used the Kemper a lot for this the process. It was kind of an interesting thing because, well, we have a studio where we retract. I mean, John has his amp that he's had forever, and what was really cool was that we profiled it. We got a few mic setups that we really liked, and we could come back and revisit songs later. We could travel. I was out of town a lot, where he could borrow the Kemper and he could like work at home on parts, and we had his amp in there. And another thing that I like to do a lot is, once we had our guitars tracked, is going back and I mean, to me, every cabinet and every amp has a different signature and personality, and what I like most is to be able to have a blend of two amps that create kind of its own hybrid color. And the way I always work with guitar heavy bands and mix stuff is I'm always bringing in a third or a fourth amp that I feel is missing when I'm listening to the whole picture, and you wouldn't even notice it unless it's not there. And so when I was going through this record, what I did a lot was we went through our guitars, and it's like, what color is it that we could use for something here? And we would blend that in, and it made just everything fall into place. So it was an amazing tool for that. When I first got it, I didn't know that you could use it for bass. I think I actually wrote to you guys, and you're saying, I don't know why it wouldn't work. And so I did it, and I ended up getting all of my amps because, you know, in 30 years I have probably 7 amplifiers I've used over the years that I never wanted to sell because they all kind of have their own little sound, and I profile them all, and now they're all in my box. And it's amazing, actually, because I can do things like, I had some of the guys in the band over when we were at the studio, and I played an old song of ours, but with my old PV amp that I first started playing in, and it just freaked them out because it was exactly the sound, you know, that they hadn't heard in 30 years. You know, it was really cool. And actually, I think there was about 6 months ago a software revision where all of a sudden all the bottom really came into everything. There was whatever it is that you guys did, it just felt a lot better. And so yeah, I've got all my basses. I can travel, I can go on trips, I can bring it's like I have my bass amp with me, headphones, I can track or just play, and it's great. It's my tone. For me as an artist, well, we've always written and arranged our own music. We kind of did it outside of having a producer, and the producer usually came in on the tracking process. So I always use things like Porta Studios and ways to get our ideas down on multi-track cassette machines. And you know, even now, this is really good for me because I can actually work with sounds that could be final sounds potentially. And every amp has its own strengths and weaknesses, and you learn how to play to these amps. Like my bass amp, my old PV one, that's kind of has to do with the sound I have now, goes back to, it wasn't really a very good amp, but I learned what it did well, and I went in that direction. And what you can do is you can start writing and using the strengths of the amplifier, where it sounds better on certain chords than other amps. And when I write now, I can write using those characteristics, that kind of character, and to me, I think it actually sounds better and it feels more natural. So that is a huge thing for me, because you're kind of hearing how it's going to sound. It's not just you know, on a little fake distorted little box, and you're hoping that people understand later what you really want to do. You can actually get that vibe in the beginning. And actually, I mean, you could even use it if you really like the demos. You can commit to that, which is amazing. So, and for how light it is, I can put it in the trunk of my car. To me, it's just like part of my thing now. I have to have it. It's part of my, I can't live without it, you know.